I don't have any tooth. I'll admit it. I will brag. Those players did not just go and whip that ass for us to be like, oh, good game. No, we whipped your ass. We took $800,000. Now we're partying with it.
Yeah, who cares if you're in the Power 5 conference if you don't win it ever, or you don't beat any of the teams in it? Like, what's the point of that? Wouldn't you rather win the conference and say, like, hey, my team is good, than lose the conference and say, well, our conference is good?
Well, I'll tell you what, I got two teams that got me gassed up. It's going to be a hell of a battle. It'd be like two dogs fighting over a milk bun.
Look, they don't call me Tip for nothing. And my tip is, look out for the group of 5 this season. They've been taking it to the Power 5 year after year.
The only quarterbacks that ever get any love are from the Power 5. I could easily list off the top group of 5 quarterbacks I would rather have than those guys. I would be willing to bet that at least one of them is going to be in the running for the Heisman this year.
Welcome, everybody, to episode number 4 of the Group of 5 Guys podcast. Week 0, we got games this week. We're excited to be here. We got another outstanding show for you. Before you listen to the rest of this deal, here's what we need you to do. I need you to go on the YouTube, like, subscribe, share to the Group of 5 Guys channel.
America, go to the YouTube right now.
Right now. And also go on the Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, join the Facebook group, Group of 5 Guys. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Group of 5 Guys. And then email us, DM us any questions you might have. And you can also listen to us on Spotify and any of your podcast listening apps. Let's go around the horn, introduce you to the boys. Jesse Grisham, how are you, good sir?
It's the most wonderful time of the year. Football's here, baby. Sprouse. It is Mentality Mondays. It's Physical Tuesdays. It's Shales Wednesdays. It's Shorts Thursdays. It's Walkthrough Fridays. Enjoy your steaks. And Saturday, let's go kick some ass. We're here, baby. It's football time.
I've never been less motivated to go play football. But hey, it's good to see you, Jess. I love you.
You could play
Proud of you.
then.
Jeff Murphy, as always, on the sound, helping us out. How are you, good sir?
I'm fired up, Sprouse. Week 0, like the old Swaggy said, it's here. The time is now. The season is upon us. We're ready to rock and roll. But first, make sure, guys, we need some help. Likes, comments, all on YouTube. All that works the algorithm. Any shares you got on Twitter, all that stuff, help us out, guys. We're trying to reach as many Group of 5 fans as possible. So share it, like it, comment. Even if you hate us, if you disagree with us, put a negative comment. It's not going to hurt our feelings. So help us out, share that out. But the time is now.
What's a bigger word, algorithm or atrocious?
Atrocious.
That's tough. I don't know.
Yeah.
Webster Dictionary.
Is algorithm a word?
Is algorithm a word?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Tyler Tipton, as always, it is great to see you coming to us live. How are you, good sir?
I'm doing great, Sprouse. I am fired up about this show. I'm fired up about week 0. I am fired up that college football is finally here.
It's back.
And we're back. We made it, guys. I mean, just give yourselves a pat on the back. We've done it. Last but certainly not least, the one and only Garth Brooks t-shirt on today. Coming to us from Nashville. Where else? Zeke Anderson. How are you?
I'm doing great. That was a great show, by the way. A lot of water. Fellas, I got to tell y'all about my weekend. So this is going to be the most redneck story ever. So at my softball game this weekend, we're
adult
playing,
league, right? This is adult league, not semi-pro.
Adult league. It's not co-ed, just for reference. But we're playing, and both teams are getting pretty chippy. There's a little chatter going on. So I get up to the plate. This catcher's been talking all game, but it's been that little healthy talk. So I hit the ball and I get on base. The next thing I hear him saying, "Yeah, you bitch." And he says it. Yeah, you bitch. And I'm like, he's going to wait until I get to first base and call me a bitch. So I'm like, okay, all right. So I'm like, I was like, I got something for him. So as I'm rounding the bases and I touch third and I'm coming home, I give him a good shove. And I said, "Who's the bitch now?" And he said, The first baseman's name is Mitch, you idiot.
Oh, no.
I was like, what? He said, yeah, his name is Mitch. I was like, oh, my bad.
Well, let that be
either
a
that's
Oh,
a
my
great
gosh.
story, or that catcher is just like a genius. That's what I would say.
Yeah, he got a little scared.
And I got an itch.
Yeah. Yeah, either he got a little scared of Zeke or Zeke was just, tempers were flaring. Let that be a lesson, though, to everybody that when we come to these tailgates, just, don't name call old Zeke Anderson here. He might get a little upset.
Mitch.
What we might try to call you Mitch for the rest of the show today. I'm gonna try my best.
That may be my nickname.
The first baseman in the dugout is just like, dude, my name's Jerry. What are you talking about?
Well, this is going to be another awesome episode. We're talking about these couple week 0 ball games we got. We got some good games coming up for us. Get us a little appetizer for the rest of the season. We're going to hit some group of 5 guys power rankings. Official release will happen this week. And then we've got another awesome guest. We've got Appalachian State assistant head coach, tight end coach, and recruiting coordinator, Justin Watts, jumping on with us for a quick interview. Talk some ball, talk about App State. It's going to be a really awesome show, man. And I mean, I'm excited to get to it. Anybody got any newsworthy stories? Not softball league stories, but newsworthy stories coming out of the weekend?
I don't understand why I go on ESPN today and I see that there's top 100 college football players being listed, and I see, who, Mr. QB1 himself is the number 1 player in the country, Spencer Rattler.
I thought you liked him.
Rattler. I feel like Vince McMahon's like, yeah, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Rattler. The day that I admit that Spencer Rattler is the best quarterback, best player, best quarterback in college football is the day I stopped drinking Miller Lite. And let's not even forget, he's not even the best player in Oklahoma. You still got you.
Who is
Davis Brin? Davis Brin, Tulsa's quarterback. He's not even the best quarterback in the state. So how are you going to have him as the top quarterback in the country? This guy's going to have an atrocious year. I'm saying atrocious. He's not going to be that great.
Not only did they have him as the best quarterback, they got him as the best player in all of college football. And the worst part about it, I saw this list. They only have 100 guys. They only have 7 group of 5 guys on that list, and then 8 if you want to count the Liberty quarterback Malik Willis. But 7 group of 5 guys.
Where's Ahmad Gardner in that list? Is he even in the top 10?
Sincere? He's on the list.
No, Gardner's on the list. So it's 3 Cincinnati guys. And Gardner's not even the top Cincinnati guy.
I think he's like 27. I think they have Ritter before him.
He's 26 and Ritter's at 20.
That just blows me away, man. Blows me away.
Sincere McCormick
I got your back, brother. I got your back, Sincere. I know how good you are.
How's that guy not on the list?
Yeah, I mean, it just what it shows you is that ESPN, they're you got guys on there that have not played meaningful college snaps yet. And all they're looking at is they're seeing the name on the front of the jersey. They're seeing, he was a 4 or 5 star recruit a year ago, and Alabama picked him up, so he must be better than everybody else. And that's what they do. It's lazy is really what it is. And then they saw Jesse's boy Spencer Rattler on the Netflix show, so they're like, he must be number 1. Well, then where's Tate Martell? Because he was on the show too, and he ain't on the list. That's my
biggest gripe with ESPN is they cut. It's the symptom of just covering these Power 5 schools, and all these group of 5 players get swept under the rug. They fly under the radar. Then they get drafted and they crush it in the NFL. And they're like, "Oh, where did this guy come from?" It's like, dude, he was balling all 4 years when he was at it. When he was in college, man. It's just I'm so sick of it.
That reminds me, and especially because we talked to Coach Lunsford last week. I remember 2 or 3 years ago when the Bears drafted Georgia Southern corner Kendall Vildor, and some Bears fan gets on the Twitter and he's furious. He's talking about, oh, there we go, getting another group of 5 guy. Why can't we draft from Alabama? I said, bro, the best player in your franchise history, Brian Urlacher, played for New Mexico.
Thank you.
So, the best player on your current team, Khalil Mack, played at Buffalo. So, maybe do a little research before you start barking up everybody's trees and complaining on the Twitter.
That's Bear fans.
Well, yeah, it's NFL fans. These people are nuts. They're fighting in the preseason now in games. These people. These people have gone. I mean, you gotta love football.
I've seen that video.
Hey, man,
Football season is here, boys.
when
They got a lot. They got a lot of a whole year of aggression just to get out. They didn't get to celebrate like last year
I mean,
or 2 years ago.
the stadiums are half empty, and these people can't just be like, this person's a little drunk behind me. Let me move over a section. They turn around and start throwing fists at people. These people are out of control, man. But hey, week 0, we've got 5 football games this week, 4 of them involving group of 5 teams, and I'm fired up for it. We're gonna hit these games, talk about them a little bit. And I mean, you start off the bat, you got UConn, hadn't played in a couple years. They're playing at Fresno State out of the Mountain West. Jeff Murphy, you love Fresno State. Are they going to smack UConn around or what?
Yeah, man. I'm honestly really excited to watch this game. I think it's just going to be a great showing for Jay Kaner, Ronnie Rivers and company, and that offense is just I think they're gonna light the scoreboard up. And UConn, I mean, like you said, they hadn't played in a while. They're traveling all the way to the West Coast. I think they're gonna have a tough time, going up against Fresno State. So I'm just excited to get football and I'm all about I'm a West Coast guy, so we got 3 Mountain West games this week.
Yeah.
Here's the deal, boys. The UConn Huskies can't put the women's basketball team out there against Fresno. They probably have a better shot of at least covering the spread. But Fresno is going to put it to the old Huskies.
UConn's rush defense was atrocious in 2019. Ronnie Rivers is about to ball out.
Well, that's why they
Saturday.
abandoned. That's why they abandoned the American Conference like a week before the season last year or the year before, whenever it was. I mean, sorry, UConn. We could have been rooting for you, and then you abandoned the group of 5 and went independent, or I don't even know what they're trying to do. But
they're lost. Another reason why I'm fired up to see this, which they won't show it, but I retweeted this off of Fresno State's Twitter. Their entrance, it looks like they're coming out from 1998 Starcade WCW, walking down the ramp. They got the tunnel and the lights, and it's pretty dope, man. Fresno State's got it going on down there.
Zeke, the line on that game, at least a couple of days ago, was 27.5 in favor of Fresno. You putting any money on the line or what?
Yeah, I got a little parlay out there. It's Fresno's in part of that at 27.5. I'm taking Fresno. Murph's got me sold. I believe in them. So UConn hadn't even played, so they don't know who can play or who can't, as opposed to 2019. So
UConn's defense gave up 41 points per game in 2019. Fresno State has a great offense. I see them putting up 50-plus points, and I don't see UConn scoring more than 14 points.
I thought you were going to say scoring at all, which they might not.
They might not.
And it's week 0. It's the first game of the season for these teams. And I said this last week. Defenses are always a week or 2 behind the offenses when you start these seasons out. So even more reason to fire on that Fresno State 27.5.
Yeah. Then the next game we got is Hawaii. They're underdogs actually. They're at old Chip Kelly and UCLA. I didn't realize Chip Kelly was still hanging around. I mean, that guy.
Well, fun fact for you, Sprouse, Chip Kelly is like 0-6 right now in opening games at UCLA. This is probably his last year. He's probably hanging on by a half a thread, and he's heady.
Needs to get a Peloton, huh, Grish?
Yeah. How many days in a row have you been on the Peloton?
21 days.
That's weird because last week I thought it was like 5 or 6 days, and then
Sprouse, come on over here, man. I'll show you how to ride it. Go, hey, for you guys out here trying to follow me on Peloton, Swag Bear 58. Let's ride together. Throw out a high five.
if you're looking to feel good about yourself and your fitness levels, get on Swag Bear's ride. And I promise you, you'll probably beat somebody on there.
Is there a view only option on there? Because I don't have a Peloton, but I would just love to watch.
I am smaller than Matt Sprouse. Then I'm just going to just roast you 24/7.
You might get smaller than me. And what does Walker and Lance always say? You look like a flat tire.
That's a melted crayon.
Looks like melted ice cream.
Peloton, cardio, muscle endurance. Cardio, muscle endurance.
Zeke. All right, back to
We
work
got to
here.
get it. We got to get back on track.
Yeah, Hawaii and UCLA, is that part of your parlay?
Yeah, I took the under, but I bought it up to 70. The line last week was 70. Looks like today it's 68. When I just put it in, I bought a couple points up. I think UCLA wins outright. It's going to contradict Jesse's selection on just a little bit, but I'm going with the under. I'm going under 68, and I think Hawaii puts up a good defensive stand. They may make a couple big stops in the first half, but then UCLA pulls away after that in the second half. I just don't think Hawaii's got the firepower to stay with them.
Here's an interesting game that we all are high on San Jose State, and they got what I'll call a little tune-up for Southern Utah before they play Southern Cal next week. Everybody in agreement that San Jose takes care of business there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They didn't even put a line or anything on that game, right?
I was just about to ask that.
That game's off the books. Like they're not even putting that game out there. Vegas knows that San Jose State's going to win that game.
Yeah, too hard to set the lines, I think.
Yeah.
I think Jeff said it pretty good like last week. And this is going to be to their advantage. Going to go play the Trojans next week. They're going to use – you know what? I'm probably speaking out of line here, but they're probably looking at USC's film today. And they're going ahead.
The coaches are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The coaches are. The players are worried about this week, but the coaches are saying, well, let's go ahead and look at USC because beating USC, that's going to change your whole season, man. It's going to change your whole season.
Big time. Sets them on the road to run the
program.
table.
It could be a program changer if you win that game, especially because you got the ESPNs and the likes saying USC's back, like they think Reggie Bush is coming through the door, Matt Leinart and Pete Carroll, and it ain't happening. And
yeah, they posted some video on Twitter and on ESPN of USC's tight end making a one-handed grab. It's like, only throw that guy to the ball so many times, but
it sounds like it was a bad throw. I mean, it's practice.
That too.
I always think it's funny when a team will tweet out or like share a video of a good play, knowing that like the other side of the ball got smoked on it.
Yeah.
like they show like a receiver being like wide open. It's like, well, your corner might have embarrassed himself on that, but
yeah, no doubt.
You know, the one game that we probably have some disagreement on. It's an interesting game, big rivalry game. You got UTEP and New Mexico State. Tip, you got any info on that rivalry for us?
I do, yeah. So this is the Battle of I-10. This is going to be the 98th time that these teams have played each other. And UTEP leads the all-time series at 57 wins, 38 losses, and 2 ties. But actually, New Mexico State has a current winning streak against them of 3 games. Now, New Mexico State didn't play last season, so this goes back from 2017 to 2019 season. But Vegas has that line at UTEP favored by 9.5 right now.
Yeah, and I would take UTEP in that. I think.
Yeah, me too.
And I think me and Jeff are on the same page, and I think the 3 of you guys. I think the 3 of you guys think New Mexico State wins that game.
I would take the UTEP money line. So I would take UTEP to win, but just the 9.5 points. Just I don't know why. I just have a weird feeling. It just scares me. I think they win by 3 to 7 points, but I just don't think they cover the 9.5.
I'll bottom down to
all the
7.5.
followers out there. When New Mexico State wins, I'll post a video on Twitter. I'll be very happy. New Mexico State wins the game.
Hold on. New Mexico State played in the spring, right? They played. What did they play? 2 games, 3 games?
They did. So they played 2 games earlier this year in the spring. Played some FCS schools. So they beat Dixie State 36-29, and got beat bad to Tarleton State 43-17. Yikes.
Well, that's a good. I mean, on a serious note, that's a good FCS conference. Like, I think that conference is Sam Houston State, who won the Natty. But so yeah, you guys are saying how bad New Mexico State is, but then you're saying they might beat UTEP. UTEP wasn't terrible last year. Now, I mean,
I didn't understand. I didn't realize those stats from the spring. When I heard that, I just went like,
Oh boy. Oh boy.
oh boy.
I mean,
Get my money back.
UTEP had an interesting year. So they, along the same lines of that conference, they beat Stephen F. Austin. It's a good FCS program.
Yeah.
They did get smacked by the Texas Longhorns. They beat Abilene Christian, barely. They smacked La Monroe. So, I mean, there's an FBS win. They beat them 31-6. They lost by 4 to Louisiana Tech. They lost by 10 to Charlotte. They got
respectable.
They got beat pretty bad by UTSA, and they lost to North Texas by 2. So, I mean, they weren't like they didn't get embarrassed other than probably the Texas game.
Yeah.
But
didn't get embarrassed returning most of their starters this year. You might have just convinced me right there, Sprouse. I think they beat them by more than 10 now.
Well, don't second guess yourself. It's like a test when you fill in B.
I'm a terrible test taker, Sprouse.
Mexico
always
State, maybe I'm
wins.
sticking with them. So, here's the deal. Week 0, we just named off Fresno State, Hawaii, UTEP, San Jose State. I'm a Group of 5 guy, probably one of the bigger Group of 5 guy fans in this podcast. I think that 3 teams win, 1 team loses. It's just how it goes.
You're one of the biggest out of 5. Huge
Physically
fan.
and mentally.
Well, you're coming down. You are coming down. You know, you're riding a Peloton. So
Yeah. Well, no,
You know
man.
what I'm talking about? I can see one of the 4 teams lose. I just see it. It's like if you, for the Power 5 people out there, if you have 5 SEC teams playing, what are the chances of all 5 teams winning? Probably not.
Are you talking
Arkansas
about
is probably going to lose
SEC
again.
on this podcast?
Yeah.
Well, Arkansas. It's just different kind of SEC.
So Zeke, give us a summary. So what's your parlay?
Parlay is Hawaii under 70, Fresno State minus 27.5, UTEP covers 7.5. Risk $50 to win $224.
I like it.
I'm with you now, but hold on a second. Did everybody on here? Did I just sell UTEP that much? Did you take UTEP to cover also, or did you miss? You might have misspoke right there.
No, he bought it down.
7.5. I got you. I thought I just sold everybody on UTEP and just.
I just said I'm New Mexico State all day.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man. But hey, we got football games, so I cannot wait.
Yeah, for real.
To just, sit down. I hadn't looked. Are all those late games? Because they're all West Coast games.
I hope so. So I can put a
midnight?
brisket out there, let smoke for 17 hours, and then I can just go watch those Mountain West games, baby.
I don't think the times are out yet. They should be, though.
That's what I love about those games where we're at. We're Central Time and Eastern Time, so it's like 9 o'clock before those games start. Kids are fast asleep. Cold beer in my hand.
There you go. Well, let's go into these power rankings, and this is where we're going to get some people real fired up.
2 p.m.
That's the first
3:30, 9:30. 2 p.m., 3:30, 9:30.
Who's 9:30? Just question.
That's Eastern time, by the way.
Who's 9:30 Eastern?
UTEP, New Mexico State. You're upset. You'll be nice and millered up by then.
Oh, yeah, I'll be nice and seasoned.
Well, yeah. So let's go into these power rankings. So what we've done here, I put together my top 15 Group of 5 guys. This is preseason. This is where I think they deserve to be. Who's reading a book again on the show here? Said Zeke.
That's me. I get the swag bear slap hand.
Well, you're over there. You're over there throwing your phone around on the table. You're ripping through pages. It's really throwing me off.
Yeah, tornado.
Well, hey, just fix it before we keep going here. I got my top 15 here, and I already know Jesse got a sneak peek of it, and he's pissed. He disagrees with a couple of them, but I'm just going to run.
It's not good. It's not good.
Well, look, I'm going to run through it real quick, and keep in mind this is not where I think these teams are going to finish. I think it's where they deserve to be, based off last year, based off a couple transfers, based off their schedule. Okay, that's all this is. Number 1. Cincinnati.
Agreed.
2, Louisiana.
Agreed.
Wrong.
3, Coastal. 4, UCF. 5, Appalachian State. 6, San Jose State. 7, Marshall. 8, UAB. 9, Toledo. 10, Nevada. I don't know. 11, UTSA. 12, Boise State. 13, my sleepers. I'm rooting for them all year, baby. Kent State, Golden Flashes, Dustin Crump for Heisman. 14, Ball State. 15, SMU. Thoughts, snubs, too high, too low.
I don't see Houston on there.
Well, okay, where would you put Houston and why?
I think they got a
Tipton, remember we talked last week. We like their schedule.
extra schedule. Yes.
And we think maybe by week 6 or 7, they will definitely be in this top 15. But preseason, which I will give Sprouse credit for his listing of 15 teams, which I do see 2 or 3 I would change. I respect the fact that he said these are preseason rankings, which is kind of why I could see Coastal at 3 because it's preseason rankings. But I totally agree with you on Houston. Houston, I think midseason form, maybe after week 3 or 4, they'll probably be in the top 10. I could see that.
So you think Houston above? So you think they're the 3rd best team in the American?
I would honestly on this list, I'd probably put them at 14, and just move Ball State down to 15.
Well, I was going to say Jesse probably wants Ball State off the list. He's only got them winning 2 games.
Yeah, but Ball State will be gone after they lose to Wyoming week 3. I mean, let me just throw my tongue at it. I think that you got Toledo at 9. I mean, when they beat Oklahoma State, they're going to move up. So I don't agree with Coastal being at 3. I do and I don't. I see why you have a preseason, but just me personally, I think UCF might have better talent than Coastal, so I would put them at probably
1.
I put UCF probably at 3. I put UCF at 3. I bring Marshall down. I think San Jose State goes above Marshall. You know what? It's hard for me to look at Boise State at 12. Now, Jeff, I know you've done your research. You know way better about Mount West than I do. It's just hard for me to look at Boise State at 12. Are they really a 12th ranked team in everybody's opinion? Like, do they go to UCF and get embarrassed?
No, I don't think they go to UCF and get embarrassed. No, I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a great game. I think their defense is really, really good. It's going to be a big test for their defense. I mean, their offense is good too. They got a bunch of skill players that can get run up and down the field. You know, UCF they just got a lot of firepower, man.
So let's go around the horn here real quick, just for my sanity. Boise State at UCF. I don't care about the spread. I want it straight up. Who wins that game? I'm gonna start with Jeff.
And I mean, I love the Mountain West, but I think UCF wins.
Tipton.
I think UCF wins was close.
Sprouse.
UCF double digits.
Zeke.
UCF. They cover 4.5 Vegas odds.
That place is going to be absolutely
ridiculous. It will. Yeah, that's a good point, Sprouse, because Gus Malzahn's first game, it's going to be erupt. It'll be erupt. Okay. Well, it's just weird seeing Boise State at 12, but God, if they do go to UCF and win that game, they'll be.
That's a big statement. They do that.
Oh, for sure.
I'll tell you who I think is a little high on this list, or I'm sorry, low on this list. I think the Wolfpack deserves to be a couple notches higher on that list.
Yeah, somebody hits them out west.
No, it's just some like the Mountain West. They didn't play as many games as the rest of the guys.
Not as much of a sample size.
It's really tough, and that's why it was tough to look at the MAC too. Like Ball State, I mean, they won 3 games last year only, but they only played 4, so it's hard to judge. And everybody was in conference, so you couldn't get any out of conference matchups to see. I will say, my Toledo pick. I think, Jesse, you were thinking of Tulsa because Toledo does not play Oklahoma State, but I can't believe nobody said Tulsa because Tulsa I don't even have in my top 15.
Okay. I'm beyond embarrassed. I was reading that as Tulsa. I know I said Toledo. God, that's bad. So, yeah, I was expecting Tulsa to be in the top 15, and I'm looking at Toledo and I'm thinking, okay, it's Tulsa. I guess I literally just went They got discombobulated. Sorry.
Get your swag
Tulsa
glasses
should
on.
be 9,
Yeah.
and I think they should be higher than number 9. And when they beat Oklahoma State, they will go. I don't know why you have Toledo at 9. Thank you for correcting that. That's
So you'd have Tulsa in the top.
I
7
would.
or
I
8.
don't know why I would not have Toledo in the
Yeah.
top 15. Yeah, maybe top 15, but not number 9. So
Yeah,
apologies for that. Thanks for correcting me on that. I said Toledo. Ugh, Tulsa.
It's all right, man. Tulsa. If I think I snubbed anybody, it's probably Tulsa.
For sure.
I think they'll be really good, and they'll get a chance. Like you said, they play Oklahoma State, and they play even in conference. I mean, anybody they beat in the American is going to be a good win. So
yeah,
they definitely have a chance at it.
Is everyone good with Louisiana at number 2?
Oh, for sure. They're competing number 1. They're competing number 1.
I have Cincinnati at number 2.
Who do you have number 1, Zeke?
He's
Who do
at
you think?
UCF.
Coastal?
UCF.
Oh, CCF.
I don't know why you're
UCF.
so high on Gus Bus.
Yeah,
Dylan Gabriel.
Gus Bus was good because of
Stud.
the kick 6. Because the long snapper didn't fan.
yeah. I mean, I'll
Do
give.
long snappers fan?
I don't
As
know.
an offensive lineman, you should hold your tongue.
You got a fan.
Called
Especially
checking the gap.
if it's a 58-yard field goal. You got a fan.
I mean, I like Gus. I think you got to give him a couple years to start recruiting, though, because I mean, and I don't know either of these people personally, but it seems like the players didn't care for Heupel very much. And when you saw him leave, you saw a lot of people transfer to UCF. You saw a lot of Auburn guys follow Gus. You didn't see a lot of UCF guys follow Heupel to Tennessee. And then you actually saw some Tennessee guys leave. So I think where Gus is going to shine is in recruiting, and then their facilities are ridiculous. So they're adding to it. I think they're putting like a lazy river around the stadium or something crazy, which if it's not open for tailgaters, it'll be a complete failure of leadership and institutional control as far as I'm concerned. So they need to let that thing ride. But yeah, I mean, UCF talent wise, sure, but they lost. Well, they lose 4 or 5 games last year, so you can't. It's hard to say that they're deserving. Now I think I put them high, just based on talent level and the fact that I think that they'll beat Boise State relatively. I don't want to say handily. I think it'll be a really good game. I just think they'll cover.
And they pull away at the end.
Yeah. I think Louisiana, though, is deserving of number 2. And I know everybody's going to say, well, Coastal beat them. But like I said, they had a bunch of guys out last year with COVID. And I know that's what happens. You get injuries, you get this and that, but you don't get half your roster sitting out because of COVID. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. So that's why I got them at 2.
I was muted. They got Billy Napier. They have Billy. That's all I got to say. Like, oh, Billy. We got Billy.
And Levi Lewis, who was not mentioned on them.
Yeah, they got a quarterback named Levi Lewis, but they got Billy.
Yeah, Levi wasn't on the ESPN
That's
top
true.
100, which is
true.
crazy to me. Grayson McCall was on there. I think, man, look, I like Coastal. I just think that for whatever reason, and I think they've done a really good job on social media and stuff by like building this name for themselves, and it's got your so-called experts on ESPN thinking they're going to run the table again. I mean, David Pollack came out and said they're winning out.
He's
So,
probably listening in to me.
well, yeah, they did listen because they basically repeated 2 weeks after Zeke said stuff about Coastal and Louisiana, and Joey
It was
Galloway
almost word. It was
repeated
almost word for word.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what I was saying. I was like, they're listening, boys.
yeah. And then they tweeted out. I mean, what, 6 minutes after we tweeted out that it was the last Saturday without college football? I mean, they copied it word for word. Nobody else knew that it was the last Saturday until college football. We were the only account to tweet that out. Kidding.
No question.
But yeah, I mean, so Zeke's got UCF. You got UCF at number 1. So what? So you have Cincinnati at 2.
Cincinnati at 2, Coastal at 3, App State after that, and then I've got a toss-up between Marshall, San Jose State, depending on – don't look at me like that.
Well, you haven't said Louisiana yet.
Yeah, because App State's going to beat Louisiana. I have an
You were
inside
putting a
source.
crawfish on top of it for Texas. And
Yeah,
now
that's
4 weeks
Texas.
later.
We're going to Boone. We're going to find out, baby.
Speaking
Just make
of
sure nobody
Boone,
in Boone calls you Mitch, because I don't really look. I'm not trying to sit in the Boone County Jail for the night. Because you get to throwing fists at somebody for calling you the wrong
We get
name.
those get out of jail free cards they gave us in New Orleans. So
I don't know if those transfer past state lines.
they do, according to Coach Watts.
That's true. Know somebody. So yeah, what about App State, number 5? Everybody good with that?
4.
I like App State at 5. I do.
Yeah, I do too.
I did too.
I think that I'll say it. Said it once, to say it again. I think the Sun Belt is the second best conference. It's very, very competitive. I like Louisiana at 2, App State at 5. That's why I don't have Coastal at 3, though. I don't think there's 3 Sun Belt teams in the top 5. So I think Coastal should probably be about 7 or 8, not number 3. I hear you. I see those eyebrows.
Well, 5 and 6 is App State Marshall, and we're going to that game, so that's going to be fun.
Yeah, I am fired up, especially after speaking with Coach Watts. I mean, just hearing about the atmosphere at App State. It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. Marshall's gonna be fun. I know that's why Sprouse put App State and Marshall right beside each other, so he could be like, "Hey, we're gonna come see it live, and we'll be able to tell the difference. Maybe somebody's gonna drop, somebody's gonna go higher.
Right.
Who's it gonna be?" I know it's
Live and direct.
I see
It was the same thing that the AP did with Louisiana and Coastal, putting them 22-23, just to make you think about it a little bit more. It's like
right.
It's like back in the day, we had an O-line coach that would have the depth chart on the on the board, and he would for those of you listening, it would be like the depth chart was these little magnets with everybody's name stacked on top of each other, and he would like it was always Jesse and our other guard Jadarius Hamlin, rest in peace Jadarius, but every practice he would turn it to the side and make them horizontal, like they were even after today, and then he would twist it back after each play on film.
he would just turn it. So now we're even. If I was winning the spot, he would put me up top, and then he would just go back to the lateral, go back to Darius on top.
And he would look over the top of his glasses, like as if like it was like some huge ordeal. He would like slowly turn and like look at Jesse and Jadarius, and like see if they're like, oh no. But
going like talking about like in the real world, it's like getting promoted, demoted like 6 times in one day. It's really exhausting.
It'd take a mental health day after it, probably.
Mental health day.
There you go. So does everybody think Marshall, UAB? I kind of was tossing them up too.
I would put Marshall in front of UAB. I like that one. I agree. I'm giving you a hard time, but I like that.
I agree with Marshall over UAB. And again, you said this was preseason, so
preseason.
I agree with how it's lined up right now. But I think UTSA will eventually jump over UAB.
Yeah, maybe I'll put together my prediction for end of the year power rankings, and we'll see if we can compare that.
I like that idea.
At the end of the year. I mean, some of it. I mean, top 2 probably ain't changing in my opinion, but
I'm still beyond embarrassed. I mean, I feel like Lee Corse over here looking at Toledo, just assuming that was Tulsa. I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah, you didn't have Herb Street to.
I know. I should have Herb Street kicking my leg.
Under the
Dude, that's a totally different conference. Everything.
Most days I never know what you're
Toledo
thinking.
at 9. You have Toledo at 9. You have them above your Kent State and Ball State. I mean, well, you did say you thought they're going to win the conference.
Yeah, I think Toledo's the best team in the MAC, man. Their defense is loaded. I think they returned 20 or 21 starters on between offense and defense. I mean, if we had more of a sample size from them last year, they might be higher than that. But it's kind of just hadn't. I didn't feel right putting anybody in the top 5 if they only played 3 or 4 games all year.
Yeah, that's respectable. I hear that.
What was hard, the hardest part of it was like looking at your App States and your Boise States and even UCF to a point was like not falling into the trap of their brand name. Like Boise State, like you said, it was like really hard. And part of me, I don't want to say I understand because these rankings aren't going to have implications on who makes the college football playoff or anything. To be honest, I think preseason rankings should be abandoned for AP and coaches polls and all that, because I think it leads to some bias when they are picking the college football playoff. But I think that they fall into that too. That's why every year Texas is in the top 25. Every year USC is in the top 25. Notre Dame, and like over and over and over again. And then they play 2 games and you're like, oh, they're not good again. And you fall into the trap. And I did that a little bit with Boise State and App State and UCF. So
I'll give you credit though. If I'm a new listener and I'm watching this and I'm seeing this rankings for the first time, and I saw UTSA at 11, I'm like, really? I mean, hey, they're a good team this year. UTSA is gonna make some noise, and Tipton sold me on them, and Sincere McCormick, I think he's gonna have one hell of a season. So I like UTSA at 11, just outside the top 10.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, and you guys, so Tulsa and Houston are the snubs there in the top 15. You guys think? We miss anybody else?
Thinking about it.
I think you got
I know. I mean, I love Wyoming. I like Wyoming and Western Michigan. Those 2 teams. Those are the 2 teams that come to mind when I think of.
Yeah, but I don't.
Be a top 15 team.
Preseason power rankings, I don't think they make it.
I know the preseason deal because Ball State they should be out of that thing.
Yeah, because you think there you go with Ball State again. You think they've got no leadership, even though they have 5th-year senior all conference quarterback and a coach.
Let's not get into it again. They can go last episode. I voiced my opinion on Ball State. I agree. I hear you. It's the preseason deal. Western Michigan, I think they're going to be a good ball club this year, and I'm kind of with Jeff on the train with Mountain West being good. Wyoming, their schedule's set up for them to be a really good team, and I think they'll be in your top 15 shortly in a few weeks.
Yeah,
App State beats Louisiana.
Okay.
Listen, Coach Watts.
Well, yeah. So speaking of App State, let's get to our interview. Our guest, like we said, assistant head coach, tight end coach, recruiting coordinator, Appalachian State, Coach Justin Watts. We all know him relatively well. Love the guy. Let's get to the interview. We have got another special guest with us coming to us from Boone, North Carolina, Appalachian State assistant head coach, tight end coach, and recruiting coordinator, Coach Justin Watts. Welcome to Chalk Talk with the Group of 5 guys. What's up, man?
What's up, guys? Appreciate y'all having me on. Had a chance to catch up with a couple of y'all's podcasts and YouTube channel, and known you guys for a long time, and just really excited what y'all are doing for college football and the Group of 5 guys, and appreciate the sweatshirt. Coach Clark said to thank you for his stuff too, and just excited to be on with you.
We're excited to have you, and I just got to know, if I were to come to you 10 years ago on the practice field, sweating, huffing, and puffing, and said, "You just wait, 10 years from now, you're going to be a guest on my podcast," what would you say?
There, I would want to know who was letting you in charge of having a podcast first. That'd be a big question.
Oh, believe me, he's not. He's not.
Let's clear up one thing real quick. He's not in charge.
I had my 5 seconds of fame right there. No, they just shut it down.
Well, and 10 years ago, I didn't. Listen, I'm new to the whole podcast game. You told me to get some AirPods and things like that, and so I'm trying to be cool like y'all guys, but who knows? I mean, that's 10 years ago. You probably didn't do a whole lot of talking on the field. You were usually pretty tired. So
I was huffing, puffing, legs across, bent over, getting yelled at.
Exactly.
Hey, Coach, we got to know, are there any proteges out there, without naming any names, that may resemble some of your more, we'll say, outgoing players in the past?
Yeah, it's
real scholars.
Every team has its characters, and there's several on here that I'm talking to right now. And you guys, when y'all were at middle, Grish, were you on the team that went to the New Orleans Bowl?
Oh yeah, baby. That was my come out party.
that was as an assistant coach, that was a tough one of corralling curfew checkers that week. So there's guys on every team like that, but y'all definitely set the bar high as guys that you may or may not want to follow and have your career turn out like.
Hey, man, you got to party hard. You got to work harder.
Hey, I'm with you.
Well, it's those guys that get the YouTube channel and podcast down the road. You have a little personality,
Exactly. I mean, now y'all would be huge into the NIL. I mean, there'd be people lined up to sign y'all for deals if y'all were still playing. There's no doubt about it.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah. You would
That's like
have
the nicest thing you ever said to me.
Swag gear, all kinds of stuff.
He'd have it all.
You'd be good to go, man.
Yeah,
You'd be good to go.
He'd have a tracksuit that said swag on it on the chest.
Well, I mean, whenever we were in
and
school,
juicy on the back.
No doubt. Right on the butt.
talking about past, I mean, forever ago, I mean, you were really more of a player's coach. Do you consider yourself a player's coach today, or have you changed in a decade?
Yeah, I mean, I do. All you guys know Stock over at Middle Tennessee, and he was my position coach in college. And I think some of the advice I got when I got into coaching was, learn from everybody that you're around, whether it be good or bad. And I still try to do that. I try to learn from my players, from coaches. You may see a coach and he's doing a drill or the way he's treating a player, and you say, hey, man, that's exactly how you want to do it. And then you can see someone else doing it and say, hey, if I'm in this situation, I'm going to choose not to do that. And maybe back and Stock was a player's coach and treated guys right. And I think, sometimes you say you're a player's coach and that gets labeled as, well, he's a guy that's maybe a little bit soft or, lets guys get away with things. And I don't look at it like that. I mean, I try to, now more so than ever, I mean, just really invest in my players, get involved in their lives, understand what they're going through. These guys, with this COVID year and things like that, they're going through stuff that no other group of players has ever gone through. So I think you got to really show that you're invested in them on and off the field. And here at App, we do a great job. Our players are over at our house all the time, and they're involved with my kids. I got, a 12-year-old boy, Chase, and a 9-year-old daughter, Kendall. And if they walk in my office and my players don't walk over and dap them up, hug them, and talk to them, then I'm not doing a good job with that relationship. So, players coach, yeah, man, I'm all for it. I try to stay up on all the newest music, everything that's going on. Try to show them I still got a little bit of coolness to me, but just basically have a great relationship with them.
Hey, I've always thought of you as a player's coach, and I loved you at MTSU, but I mean, I don't know if y'all did if y'all did mat drills at App State or not, but I'll be honest with you and upfront with you today that you were my most hated person in mat drills. I just didn't like looking at your face at 5 o'clock in the morning. Just didn't like it.
Hey, listen, believe me, I was it's mutual, buddy. Atrocious. Your face was atrocious.
Appreciate it. Good vocabulary.
Yeah,
Swag Bears vocabulary books will be coming out pretty soon.
Swag Bears. But yeah, I mean, I think when guys know you love them and you care about them, you can get after them. And and I learned that from Stock, and Stock used to get after us in practice, and but I would have done anything in the world for him. So I think as long as you treat guys right, you can get after them in mat drills. And we don't do them per se here like we did it back at Middle with you guys. We're kind of a semester long deal in the off season. We get them in there twice a week in the indoor and get after it. But it's more of just competition type stuff and team building than it is really just old school mat drills.
Yeah.
Coach, speaking of vocabulary, you've been in Boone for a while. Can you give us the correct pronunciation of Appalachian?
Stop right there. You don't need to say the other one. You just say Appalachian. All right. Appalachian. There's probably been many a sports broadcaster that's got the TV turned off on them for saying the wrong one. Those guys come and they interview us and they talk with our team and everything. And the quickest way you can lose an App State fan is not to say Appalachian and say it the wrong way. But that's something our fans around here take pretty serious, and it usually doesn't happen, when we're around here. But when we go to a bowl game and you get somebody that maybe is covering our game that hadn't done it in the past, they'll say it the wrong way, and then we have to take care of business.
I mean, for our listeners out there, and probably just piss you off. So Appalachian is not what you say.
That would be incorrect.
Okay, cool.
That would be incorrect.
I'll have to remember that when we come and visit here in about
Twitter roast the swag bear. Roast them.
Yes, Twitter will get you. And they are loyal Twitter fans here at App State. And
we know.
There's a big following.
Love it.
And, they love their school and they love their football. So you gotta make sure to pronounce it correct. Hey, just be safe. App State. You can't go wrong.
That's
with
what
that.
I do. I
love saying App State.
There you go. What is it about App State that has such a loyal following? I mean, we had Coach Lunsford with Georgia Southern. Obviously, y'all are big rivals, but and they have a similar backing where obviously there's plenty of Group of 5 schools that don't. what is it about Boone that has them not wearing, powder blue or NC State gear or whatever that is?
It's probably is very similar to like you got with Coach over there at Georgia Southern, but just the culture they have around here is unique. I think they've done a good job in the past recruiting guys that want to be here, that enjoy App State football, that fit on the mountain. The mountain's a special place, and our fan base, to me, has grown throughout the years. And when you had Coach Jerry Moore, and then they won the 3 national championships, and obviously the win over Michigan, that you saw the enrollment of the school grow, and now you start to see a lot of second generation parents. Students come. We know their parents were here. As the football was getting started and getting to become huge. So people are really proud here. We're about 2 hours from Charlotte, so it's not an easy place. You don't just drive around and you say, oh well, we fell into Boone. So people have a love for this place, and so when they get here, there's pride in it. They like say, you don't walk around our campus and see anybody in a UNC shirt or a NC State hat or a Wake Forest or Duke and any of that stuff. They chose to come to App State, have pride in it, and and then have a great following for our football team. I think football has done been a big part of kind of the loyalty and the fan base, of App State. It started off, and the stadium's been expanded. We just moved into a $50 million building 5 weeks ago.
Wow.
And so
Don't get him started.
First class facilities. This place is they want to be the best, and they're going to do what it takes to win. And these guys love App State. They enjoy it, and these fans don't want to be anywhere else.
That's awesome. Yeah. So Sprouse he brought up Georgia Southern. Can you talk a little bit about that deeper than hate rivalry that you got with those guys?
Yeah, it's hate. It really is. And I'll be the first one to say I've got a ton of respect for Coach Lunsford and what those guys do over there. Y'all know Coach Jeet Wade is one of my best friends in the world. He's in my wedding. I was in his wedding. We still talk on a basis. The funny thing about it is there's been a lot of coaches that have coached at both places. Coach Lunsford was here at App State for several years. Their defense coordinator Scott Sloan was here my first several years here. But it's I think it started off back in the 1AA days, and back then it was those guys met, and it usually was determined who was going to the playoffs or who was going to the national championship, and it was that type of seed. So both fan bases love their team and hate us, and and it's they hate us, we hate them. That's good. It's not a place. When you go down there, it's kind of a wife and kids. Y'all stay here this weekend and just watch this one on TV because it's going to be a little rough down there. And that's the way it should be. Chad's like I said, Chad's done a great job and won 2 out of the last 3. A couple years ago we went 13-1. That's our only loss. So they're going to put a great product on the field, and we feel like we're going to put a product on the field that's really good too. And both we recruit the same kids a lot of times. They've come into North Carolina recruiting, and we obviously go into Georgia and recruit. So, a lot of times these guys are choosing between one of these two schools, and then when they get there, they learn to hate it. We had a coach here 2 years ago that wanted to call it Love Week, and didn't go over real well with the fan base, and didn't go over real well with the players, especially when you lost. And we went back to Hate Week last year, and it turned out a lot better for us.
That's awesome.
It might be. That might be possibly a top 5 rivalry in college football.
Guys, I'm telling you, and listen, the stadiums are the stadiums. It's theirs is whatever it is. Ours is 30,000. I've played in Clemson, South Carolina. I've been to big ones. I've been to great games. I got chills right now thinking about it. When you walk that first year when I got here, and you walk out 2 hours before the game, and the whole student section, 4,000 people are sitting there before you've even thought about going to warm-ups, and they're cranked up and they're ready to go. And it's exciting.
Can't fake it. Can't fake it.
It's in the first I'm going on year 7 here. The first 5, it was on a Thursday night game, and we always played on television, which it was good for the program and the exposure. But last year they changed it to a Saturday, and then this year they changed it to Saturday the last weekend. So, listen, no matter how our season goes, their season goes, that place will be rocking. They'll be excited. We'll be excited, and it's what you want in rivalries. I mean, like I said, when you walk out, there's the fans are ready to go on both sides. The coaches are ready to go, and the players are damn sure ready to go.
That's awesome.
How much better is it going to be this year without the track around y'all stadium?
It's so last year they took it out and we laid the new turf, and then last year they took it out and laid the new turf. This year it's completely out. We've got a tiny little track right around the deal, but you don't see it. It's it just looks like a big time Division I place now. I mean, we're like I said, both sides, and then our hill is around underneath the scoreboard, and we've got a big time scoreboard, the biggest in the state of North Carolina, and our hill's underneath there, and that thing gets packed out with walk-up tickets. And then, like I said, we just moved into that $50 million building, so there's nothing there in that stadium that's keeping us. Whether it's from a recruiting standpoint, that used to be used against us. Hey, they got a track around their stadium, and it didn't look good on photos. So we've got that new building, and we're really holding off on putting a lot of graphics in it right now because we're waiting, for this first home game for that thing to be sold out completely, and then we get all these aerial shots.
That's dope. So we're actually coming to the Marshall game on that Thursday night. So you talked a little bit about a Thursday night game. How do you think the atmosphere is going to be for that game? I mean, that's got to be a big game, right?
It is. I mean, and we did a thing with our team last year before we got ready to go play in West Virginia there, and these two teams used to be rivals, and they played in the playoffs, and we kind of showed them some of the film, and our head coach, Coach Clark, played in games that were played against Marshall, and so we showed some of that, and there's probably some hatred with those guys too. I mean, and they got after. So one of the few teams that in my 6 years here that have kind of lined up and they physically got after their defense, physically got after our offense. And so we didn't play well. We turned it over. We had some guys injured, and but that'll be an exciting event. I mean, like I say, you'll come out and we'll give y'all guys a tour of the facility and that type of stuff, and let y'all go out and partake in some of the tailgating. And then once you come in, you'll see most of the Thursday games have been close to being sellouts. Usually our Saturday games are completely sold out and you can't get a ticket. But those Thursday games you can get in just because, like I say, Boone's 2 hours away from Charlotte. You got to come. It's not easy to come up and go, but it'll be rocking. The Rock will be rocking. That's a guarantee.
Good deal. Hey, Coach. I did a little research on the Sun Belt in the offseason, and you keep talking about that defense. It looks like you got 10 starters coming back, which is
lost one. Shamar Jean Charles got drafted by the Packers, and he was our only guy that's not starting. That's not back.
What's it like for you as an offensive coach having to go against that defense every day?
It's a headache. It is. There's not many days that we walk off the practice field and you say, "Hey, we got the better of them." I mean, they can run. They can run, and they're violent. And I love watching them on Saturday. And but during the week, it's miserable. I'll tell you a story. Eli Drinkwitz took the job here, and 2 years ago, and he's coming from being the OC at NC State, and we're getting ready for spring ball and things going. And I said, "Hey, Coach, hey, I know we want to get after it right here. So, but I'm just gonna let you know, the last every year I've been here, the defense just kicks the crap out of us in the spring. I said it's just a regular beatdown." He said, "Well, that's changing. That's changing. We're gonna throw it around. We're gonna do this changing." And I love Coach Drink. He's been great to me these last couple of years. Well, after about our second scrimmage, we went out and I think we had 2 first downs. And I walked him. I tapped him on the butt walking out there. I said, "Welcome to App State, buddy." And, he was like, and as a head coach, you get the luxury of, Coach Clark. He's the O-line coach the last 4 or 5 years, and he's miserable like the rest of us. And now, as the head coach, he gets to say, "Well, the defense is doing a great job." But they do a great job defensively. They've done a great job recruiting, and we're true to who we are. We're undersized. We're not big. Our defensive end, who's ranked, one of the top 75 players in the country, whatever. He's 6 foot, 270 pounds. I mean, we're laterally, we try to cause havoc, chaos, hit people in the backfield, keep the ball in front of us, but they can run. And like I say, it prepares us. You kind of doubt yourself a little bit offensively because you don't know, because you do go in some scrimmages and you don't score. And you leave and you're like, hey, well, we got 2 field goals. Or, sometimes you have to be happy with not turning it over, in a scrimmage because they've done such a good job. But they're fun to watch. And like I say, it's not a whole lot of fun during the week, but on Saturday, you're glad you're on that black and gold side.
How's Chase Bryce done with that defense during camp as it's progressed?
Chase has come a long way. He going through, he left Clemson, goes to Duke for a year. Struggled. Self-admittedly, he'll say he struggled a good bit at Duke last year with interceptions, and so that's something we addressed. But about, I'd say, 8, 9 spring practices. He was kind of up and down till then, and then since then he's been really solid. And he understands that's one of the better defenses that we'll go against this year. And I remind him that often. Those guys are they've been a top 15 defense in the country the last 4 or 5 years.
It's a huge advantage for y'all. It's huge.
No, it is. It's we've all been places where sometimes you go 3 and out, and you look up, you're down 10, 14, nothing. Well, we go 3 and out, and it's all right, guys. We got it figured out now, and the defense is not giving up a point. And so, it's exciting. And but Chase has done a good job. Chase, man, the best thing about Chase is he's been a good leader. He's been a good person. A guy that's transferred in, you don't ever hear him talk about Clemson or talk about Duke. He just came in and kind of immersed himself in the App State culture and said, "Y'all teach me how y'all done it around here." We've got a quarterback-friendly system with, I've been the 6 years I've been here, we've only had 2 starters. We've had Taylor Lamb, who's the Sun Belt leading touchdown passer, and then Zach Thomas the last 3 years. And so, this has been kind of a new thing for all of us, but Chase has come in and done a really good job.
You talked about being small, and I know you were specifically talking about defense, but I tell you who's not small, Cam Peoples, 6'2", 220. How good is that guy?
He's an unreal person. I don't know if y'all get a chance to follow him on social media or not, but he's a good dude to follow. Cam is a great personality, and he is every bit as big as you just said. He's kind of become a little bit this offseason, the face without having a returning quarterback, having to become the face of the program. He rushed for 1,000 yards last year with a huge bowl game where he rushed for 280, something along those lines. But App State's got the longest running deal of 1,000-yard rushers in college football right now. I think we've got 9 straight years of having a 1,000-yard rusher. And so we knew what we had to do in that bowl game to get Cam to 1,000, and he got it. Didn't come into the season last year being a starter, was coming back off of an ACL, and he's got his body in great shape, and he's a big physical back that I think we're looking forward to having a big year.
With an offensive lineman named Bear Hunter, you ought to have
Bear
a 1,000-yard back.
Right.
I can tell you that
No
much.
doubt. Bear, in Swag Bear style, Bear moved from left guard to center this year.
That's what it's all about, baby. It's what it's all about,
Yeah.
man. Diversity.
No doubt about it. No doubt. He's another good one. Bear Hunter. That's right.
I gotta ask you this. Put the spotlight on you. You're playing Georgia Southern, 4th quarter. Time's ticking down. 4th down and 10. You're on Georgia Southern's 18. You're on Georgia Southern's 18-yard line.
All right.
You got one more pass to win the game. Who you putting in there, Jeff Murphy or Chase Bryce? You got to answer in 3, 2, 1.
Chase Bryce.
Chase Bryce.
Oh.
Chase Bryce, without a doubt. I would prefer that guy over me.
Hey, but here's the deal. Strictly because listen. There's a chance maybe somebody retweets this or whatever, and Chase Bryce sees it. It's about confidence.
Oh,
Look,
no doubt.
Murph, we're all has-beens. I mean, we're not throwing it. I get to throw pat and go during.
Watama never was. So
I want to put Chase Bryce in too. I was just making sure you were going to say it.
Listen. It's about confidence in your players. Chase Bryce. Now it's Murph. I remember Murph driving your first start, and you were going down, and we got the ball right before halftime, and we were like, should we go 2 minutes or should we take it? Should we just run it out? I was like, 2 minutes. And I was like, this kid may have to go win us a game later on this year. We were beating somebody pretty bad right before
I think it was
halftime.
Austin P.
And, Austin P. And I was like, 2 minutes. We got to go 2 minutes. This kid may have to win us a game later in the year. About 2 plays later, he threw a pick. Stock looked at me, he's like, just keep your mouth shut from now on.
Sounds about right.
I thought that was going to be like a heroic.
I did too. That was such a curveball.
Team on
Hey,
your back.
2012, we would have taken Murph, but Chase Bryce probably would have been like 12 years old.
Exactly. No
Coach,
doubt
you got a couple Twitter questions from some fans wanting to know.
Good deal.
These are from, well, I don't know, his Twitter name is just Andrew. He's got an App State polo on, so he must be a big fan. He says he's talking about tight end David Larkins having a good camp. Any chance he gets some snaps this year?
Yeah, David's a tight end. We signed out of Ohio. We usually don't go up there. Through the pandemic, it was all done like this, so it wasn't really about traveling. It was a guy that showed some interest to us, and he was a big signee for us. And he's come in and he has had a great camp, and we definitely do see him playing this year.
Nice. And then same guy, Andrew. Speaking of recruiting, he says, "How big of a recruiting class do you anticipate taking this year, with so many super seniors coming back and a large class last year?"
Yeah, with the super seniors, and you guys know, probably looking at the roster, we had about 15 seniors come back this year that were super seniors. So it's been an advantage, but we'll probably sign in the area of 15 or so guys. Recruiting's changed so much since y'all guys were coming through and everything with the portal and that whole deal. And but we'll probably sign 15 high school kids this year.
And then last one for you off Twitter. This is from Brian Got That Drip at us on Twitter. He's wanting to know, playing at Clemson under Tommy Bowden and obviously coaching and playing for Stock. You have any really good Bobby Bowden encounters?
I didn't. I'll tell you this though. Before my senior year of college, I wrote a letter and I typed it up and I signed it and I wrote a letter and I sent it to every head coach in the Southeast. Division I, Division II, whatever, and said, "Hey, this is Justin Watts. I'm getting into coaching. Blah 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 blah. After this year, tell me what I can do to join your staff as a GA." Well, I've got a list of those. Just say 100 guys that I sent that to, and I got about 6 personal letters back, and one of them was from Bobby Bowden.
Wow.
And he just said, "Hey, I usually hire my own players as GAs. I'll make sure I talk to Tommy about you, and I look forward to seeing you in November when we play," and that whole deal. So I've still got that letter. So that, for someone that's won national championships and is done a ton for the game of football, and his recruiting, his football tree is just unbelievable, and we've all been touched by it. But for him to take time to send a personal letter back, I think that's about as cool a story as I can give you.
Yeah, that's a hell of a story.
Not a bad story.
Well, all right, Coach, we're about out of time. Floor is yours for about 30 seconds. You got any final words for recruits, for fans? All you.
Well, first of all, thank you guys again, man. I appreciate it. It's been fun. I'd love to, after you go through the rest of these coaches that y'all know, I'd love to get back on here with you one time. But recruiting, man, you'll see when you get up here. When y'all guys get up here for the Marshall game, you'll see recruits come on campus, give us a shot. And, I tell everybody, if we bring 10 recruits on up to Boone, 2 of them leave. And they say, hey, App State's not for me. I don't love the mountain. There's 8 of them that we can put in a room and they'll fight for that scholarship because they'll fall in love with it. And so just come up here and check us out. And fans, we appreciate the support you've given us, over the years, especially this past year with the pandemic and not being able to, play in front of you. But we look forward to here in about, 10, 11 days, we open up against East Carolina and Bank America Stadium. And then, then we travel down to Miami. So we play in 2 NFL stadiums back to back. And then we've got September 18th circle because we can't wait to see 30,000 packed in the Rock, and we're looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, man, Coach, thanks for coming on with us. I had a hell of a time. I know the boys did.
Appreciate it, guys.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Can't wait to see
you all season, Coach.
Can't wait to see you in a couple months.
Appreciate it, guys.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Justin Watts, Appalachian State assistant head coach. What a great interview. What a great dude. We all know Coach Watts from back in the day, so we knew he was a good dude. But I thought that Bobby Bowden story was awesome. That was probably my favorite part there.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet. I'm fired up to go to that game now. I was fired up beforehand to go to Boone, but now, the way he was describing it, it's like Place is going to be rocking on a Thursday night, man.
Make sure we just say App State. Just App State. For here's the
That's
App.
all I say. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that word.
It's going to be an atmosphere that we have never seen.
They do
an atmosphere.
They do like the one side of the stadium. App State.
That's pretty
They
tight.
did that. They did that. When I went, was it like 2 years ago to the Sun Belt championship game, and they played Louisiana. And like, I remember what he said about the student section being there like 2 hours before the game. Like, I remember they were like, like playing music and it's not super loud. So, the game's not like about to start, but the players are out there in like shorts and, sandals, like walking around, checking it out. Student section was there, like ready to roll. And that was when they had the track still around the stadium, and it had a little bit of like a smaller time feel, but I'm jacked to see it without that. And Thursday night game, that's going to be big time.
Yeah. But we appreciate him coming on. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And we're able to answer, our questions for the week in that interview.
Yeah. So keep the Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, however you want to DM us questions for either for us or, if we have a coach or a player or guest on, or fire them off to the email. We do have an email address. It's just group5guys@gmail.com. So keep those coming. We definitely enjoyed it. We enjoyed having Coach Watts on the line with us there. Let's get to the last call. I'm going to give Jesse the opportunity to redeem himself after that Tulsa-Toledo debacle.
Yeah,
I don't know if you want to apologize to everybody.
No, I definitely want to apologize. I want to apologize. I've been a fan of Tulsa all week. I mean, all week for the past fan of Tulsa for the past 6 months, man. I think Tulsa got a great year. It's embarrassing because I don't think Toledo is even like a top 10 team, but I do think Tulsa is. And when I saw Toledo, I was thinking Tulsa. So that's what happened. But you know what? I'm sorry. Apologize, Tulsa. Davis Brand, go out there, do your thing this year. And for all the fans out there, week 0, it's a big week. It's not just week. It's not week 1 just yet. So, hey, you can practice on your smoking techniques, your grilling techniques. If you're doing ribs, let's monitor them. Keep it slow and low. Jeff, I know you're an expert. Slow and low wins the game. Slow and low wins the game. And let's start them off about 10 o'clock in the morning. We can start eating about 8 o'clock at night. Catch these Mountain West games, baby. I'm excited for week 0.
Can't wait,
it's
man.
here. We finally made it. And let's just see if Zeke wins that
hard
parlay.
summer of training and preparation, but the time is now. It's upon us.
Zeke wins that parlay. He's paying for the gas to get to Charlotte.
There you go. Well, hey, guys, as always, don't forget to like, subscribe on YouTube, watch the podcast on YouTube, listen to it on Spotify, any of your podcast streaming devices or apps. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram @Group of Five Guys. Join the Facebook Group of Five Guys. As always, we appreciate you. Next week, we'll be talking about football games that have happened. It's been a pleasure. See y'all next week.